Okay, so picture this. You're in the middle of making dinner, right? Hands are covered in flour. You're elbow deep in a recipe, and you suddenly realize you can't remember how many teaspoons are in a tablespoon.
Happens to the best of us.
Exactly. Now, instead of scrambling for your phone with doughy fingers, you just ask your AI assistant to read you the recipe. Sounds pretty futuristic, right?
Like something straight out of Star Trek.
Totally. But get this, that's just scratching the surface of what we're diving into today.
Oh, this is going to be good.
We're taking a deep dive into a Spanish language podcast episode, and the star of the show is, you guessed it, ChatGPT.
ChatGPT's everywhere these days. What's the angle this time?
Well, the fact that it's in Spanish is actually a big clue about why this episode is so groundbreaking. And it's not just another tech review. They actually interviewed ChatGPT itself.
Hold on, interviewed, like with ChatGPT talking.
You got it. ChatGPT answered questions using its brand new voice feature.
Whoa, okay, things just got real. I mean, we knew this was coming, but to actually hear it, that's next level.
Right, and what's crazy is that this is more than just ChatGPT spitting out text in a robotic voice. This voice capability, it signifies a massive leap towards like actual, natural, intuitive communication between humans and AI.
It's like we're finally breaking out of the text box, you know? Moving towards something that feels more human, more like a conversation you'd have with, well, another person.
Exactly. And when you really think about it, we use our voices for almost everything. Imagine how much this could change things for people who have trouble typing or reading on a screen.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, for someone who's visually impaired, this could be life-changing. Mm-hmm. The ability to access information, to interact with technology in a way that was previously really difficult, if not impossible.
Yeah.
It's huge for accessibility.
And it gets even wilder. The podcast mentioned that ChatGPT doesn't have just one voice. It can speak in different voices, even with different accents.
No way. Are you serious?
Yeah, they played a clip, and honestly, it was kind of eerie how natural it sounded. Like, are we sure this isn't a person?
Okay, now that's just cool. I remember the old AI voices, the ones that sounded like, well, robots. This is light years ahead.
Totally. Yeah. But here's the thing, the podcast really hammered home that this is about way more than just a cool party trick.
Right. This isn't about making ChatGPT sound fancy. It's about fundamentally changing our relationship with technology.
Okay, so let's get into some of the practical uses they talked about, because some of these examples are seriously mind-blowing.
Hit me with it.
Well, they talked a lot about education.
Okay, I can see where this is going, and I'm already excited. Education is ripe for this kind of disruption.
You know, I've always been someone who learns best by listening. So the idea of ChatGPT reading me a textbook, like actually reading me a textbook, I mean, that just blows my mind.
Oh, totally. And the podcast actually brought up students, especially those who struggle with traditional learning.
Yeah, they gave the example of a student with dyslexia who's always had a tough time with reading. Now imagine if they could just listen to their textbook, have ChatGPT narrate it to them just as easily as any other student.
Exactly. Or think about students who don't have access to, good teachers or resources. ChatGPT could basically become their own personal tutor, available anytime, day or night, to answer questions and help them learn in a way that actually makes sense to them.
It's really leveling the playing field when you think about it, giving everyone, regardless of their background or learning style, equal access to information and education.
Right. And this isn't just about students either. Imagine someone learning a new language, right? Mm-hmm. They could have conversations with ChatGPT to practice, like in real time. Or someone who wants to learn how to code or play an instrument, but they don't have the time or money for classes.
Right, because who has time for classes? It's like having access to this incredible teacher whenever you need them, no matter what you want to learn.
Exactly. And ChatGPT can give them feedback, walk them through it step by step, making knowledge and skills way more accessible than ever before.
It's honestly a game changer for anyone who wants to learn something new, which is, let's face it, pretty much all of us. Yeah. But the podcast also got into some...
Oh, okay. So it's like having a really smart co-pilot who knows when to chime in and when to stay quiet.
Exactly. Or someone who relies on GPS, but they have trouble, with those little screens while they're driving. ChatGPT could give them audio directions, nice and clear and concise, making it way less stressful.
That makes a ton of sense. Okay. So we talked about education, driving. What else? There's got to be more, right?
There's way more. But before we jump into that, let's circle back to something we touched on earlier, the fact that this podcast was in Spanish. That little detail actually hints at something even bigger than just voice technology.
Okay, you're right. We were going to circle back to that. Because this isn't just about ChatGPT learning to speak English, is it? We're talking about AI that can understand